sometimes people will ask me, hey, why do you read so much? Why do you listen to so many books? Why do you keep learning and all that stuff? For me, one, reading is important to me, and so I make time for it. I make it a priority, so that's why it supersedes many of the other activities I could be doing. Two, I just love learning. I like the idea of, learning more knowledge. It's like the saying that knowledge is like a web. It's like a spider's web, that the more you have, the more you can hold, and the more you can hold, the more you can have, and it's a loop that way. But also, one of the reasons that I don't mention a lot is that one of my greatest fears is that I will grow up and become older and have a closed mind and start to stop being humble in what I know and start to think that I know it all, right? And to be one of those people who just believes what they believes and won't listen to anyone, and they believe that they're always right. And that's one of my greatest fears. I don't want to turn to that. I constantly want to force myself to be a student and constantly learning, and in the mindset of I know that I don't know everything, and I have to be open-minded enough to keep learning and keep growing. Because once you stop learning and stop growing, most people, after they finish high school or college, they make the mistake of just their knowledge just plateaus, and they think, oh, I'm just gonna work for the rest of my life, and then that's it. But as Tony Robbins says, if you're green, you're growing. If you're ripe, you're rotting. And so if you're not learning and you're not growing, then you're dying. And so I want to always force myself to stay in that mindset of a student. And so I want to keep this open mind. And it's not, and I found that, and I've heard and I've read in their studies that it's not your fault, because physiologically, biologically, older people, or as people become older, they become more conservative in their beliefs and in their actions, because they've had so much experience that they know the correlation between doing this action equals this result. This action is this result. And so they'll make those associations. So they have stronger frameworks and association pattern recognitions. So they know that one thing equals another thing. And so they don't have as much of an open mind. And you tend to be more conservative as you get older. And so that makes sense. I get that. But then you'll have those people who are older, and yet they're so knowledgeable and well-read, and they still have an open mind. They're still willing to learn from other people no matter where they come from. And that's the type of person I want to be when I grow up, is to constantly be learning. And it's not to say, some people will say, oh, well, you know, those liberals or those young people, they just blindly accept all these things and there's no morals and there's no nothing. That's not true. You do need a lens to filter things. You can't just listen and believe everyone, because people have weird beliefs and they don't have morals and stuff like that. But that's not the same as not having an open mind, right? Have your beliefs, have your principles, and be firm in that. And you have to take everything as you're learning. But the idea here is that you have to be able to listen and comprehend and filter it through your own lens and your own values. But if you don't keep an open mind, you're going to miss out on a lot of things. It's like that saying, the most expensive thing that you can own is a closed mind. And I firmly believe that. And so I don't want any extra expenses in my life, and I don't want to have a closed mind. I want to constantly learn from everyone and everything. And it allows me a better framework for when I journey through life and connect and meet more people and talk with more people and learn from more people, no matter where they come from or their age or their background. Having more knowledge allows me to connect and learn and stay in that mindset. And so that is the thought for the day, and that is why I personally love reading and love learning and love connecting with people.